Natural Since Birth here. Let's immediately get started with this video. As you can see in the picture, that is literally my everyday look. Comparing the photos and the video, the results are different. Overall, in the video, I use the same technique. I'll let you know later what's different. After some playing around and tweaking, my makeup is more refined. I'm using the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation, and I'm starting with 290. Yes, that is a very high color for my complexion, but based on how I play around with colors, I add the 370 color on top of the 290. The brush that I am using that I showed is the Rare Beauty brush. The brush is specifically for concealer under the eye. And even that has changed. I still use the brush under my eye. I only use it for the inner corner of my eye, not all over under my eye. I noticed using the Rare Beauty concealer brush that you can tell where I applied the powder as opposed to using the Beauty Blender Power Pocket Puff. Try saying Power Pocket Puff 3 times fast. Beauty Blender did that on purpose. I noticed that using that tool as opposed to the Rare Beauty brush I'm using here in the video, that it's a much smoother application. It's less, the best word I could use is kind of dotted on, or, you know, packed on. And when I say packed on, I don't necessarily mean that it's too much applied. It's just that you can see where the brush has been on my face. And the Beauty Blender Power Pocket Puff also makes application a little bit faster. Mind you, it takes me about 10 minutes to do my makeup, minus some things I tweak. So that is step 1, post skincare. I have completed under my eye. Now I'm going to go into where I would bronze. That's going to be the Mented foundation stick in the color D10 because technically M10 is my foundation color by Mented. So if I want to just kind of deepen where the light naturally shadows hit on the face, I would put it in those areas like my nose, my cheeks, and around my forehead. Like I said, I don't do all of this too much anymore. I just do the hollows of my cheeks and I do my nose. I don't even do my forehead anymore unless I'm really trying to go for a full look. I go a little bit wider out with the under eye powder, and then I kind of blend everything together and up into that really light under eye color, so that way everything blends nicely and there aren't any harsh lines. I wanted to make that known because if anybody knows the Fenty powder foundation, they would know that 290 is up there compared to my deeper complexion. I am still trying to find the perfect color to use under my eye as my quote under eye concealer. Once I find that, I'm going to be able to use just one powder. But like I said, I like to put that underneath to give a little bit of brightness to my eye and then tone it down with the 370 powder foundation. Going in with that Charlotte. Got me glistening. And yeah, my hand's totally in the way of the camera. Let me quickly get past this. All up in the lens. Anyway, this is the next part of the routine that I was referring to that I don't do as much. I put a lot less foundation on my chin. I don't put any on my nose. And again, if you look back at the photos, there's nothing on my forehead. Every once in a while, I may put powder on my nose to kind of distinguish that there's bronzer on my nose, but I don't even do my forehead anymore. I get a lot of compliments on the fact that people didn't realize I was wearing makeup, which I thought people could see it clearly. I've had several people ask me, like, hey, like, what foundation do you have on, when they see I pull out a foundation? It's not when I have the makeup on and they see me, it's when I pull it out and I have to do it really quick in public. Now, where in the world is this dry skin girly going, putting more powder on her face? Let me explain. It tones down that wonderful shine from the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. It took me about 10 years to really figure out how I like my makeup, what works for my skin, what doesn't work for my skin. And I came to the conclusion that, funny enough, having dry skin, I have to use powder under my eyes and not liquid, which sounds like an oxymoron. I kept hitting brick walls every time I used liquid concealers under my eye. Liquid on your face is going to move. That's obvious. But what I mean, I would always assume that because my skin is dry, I should use a liquid concealer first and then put the powder on top. The only time that ever really worked for me is when I used Pat McGrath's liquid concealer. It seemed like the liquid was more drying to my skin. I had a theory. What if I use a powder under my eye? When Fenty came out with the Pro Filter, I was like, you know what? Let me try it and see how I like it. And I proved my theory. I realized because I use such hydrating products on my skin, especially under my eyes, I didn't need any more liquid more than what was already on my face. All of that plus another liquid on top, it just wreaked havoc for me to have to add powder on top of that. I just need to set the moisturizing products on my face with powder. Back when I was like 5 years old, I don't know if y'all remember CoverGirl, back in like late 90s, early 2000s, everybody wanted to be a CoverGirl. That was the look I always dreamed of. I used to model and pretend like I was a CoverGirl model. Here's a makeup look that you can wear every day and look polished, presentable, but elevated. Easy, breezy, beautiful, natural since birth.